NeXT community. So I thought I would do something pretty cool for you all. As you know, I've got some very unique and rare NeXT stuff, including CDs and VCR recordings that I don't think anybody else on the planet really has at this point in time. And a lot of the stuff came from original ex-Nexters, including Rich Page, the Vice President of Engineering, and Gary Bradfield estate. He would do all the presentations, setups for Steve Jobs. And I recently put one of the Steve Jobs demoing NeXT 3.1 on Intel. And so I was going through some of my archives, and as I say, I'm turning more of the stuff into ISOs and trying to share it with the NeXT community. And I think we're getting a lot more people joining in. I'm hoping that I'm entertaining. I'm relatively new to creating these YouTube videos. I'm trying to get better at it, and the screen recording's helping quite a bit. So without further ado, I have this evening an original NeXT Sales Tools CD, and this was from Rich Page, I believe. So this is what the marketing and sales, NeXT sales reps would get. And so for an example, I'm just going to kind of go through it. Let's start with the README. And we'll go ahead and launch that. So this kind of says the CD-ROM's confidential, may not be distributed to customers, resellers, or companies. Please take care to keep the CD-ROM and information on it confidential. As it is 35 years later, I think the trail's probably gone cold. And I've waited a little bit to just make sure this was okay. I know quite a bit of the people that are on here. You know, I'm actually friends with them to this day. So here's the sales tools, and it kind of goes through, and we'll take a look at what apps they would use. There's a list of apps and demo apps, and then I could go kind of through what the registered developer and consultant packages look like, and you know, what they would give you as a contract. And I've been on the other side of receiving the contracts and everything else, and I think I'm one of the last guys still authorized to continue to maintain and support, distribute NeXT and OpenStep to help maintain the hardware for hobbyists, as well as a few corporate customers that are, believe it or not, still using NeXT to this day. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. I've even gone to Apple and said, you guys ought to really buy these guys and the software, or at least port it over. And their response was, well, it would take a 1, a comma, and a whole lot of zeros. And they were more than happy to have me do the support, because as you can imagine, all these years later, there's been several incarnations of employees at Apple. And I have been fortunate that I've been, you know, a lot of the people that I've worked with all along are now very senior at Apple, which is kind of neat, and a lot of them have retired. So this is kind of fun. I'm sure when they see this, they'll get a kick out of it too. So it goes through and it talks about the sales tools and the strategic marketing. And so let's step through. I'm just going to kind of pick things that I found that were really interesting. Let's start with, say, the demo apps, that they would provide. And we've seen a lot of these. Neural Solutions, Page Chain, Paper Out, S-Book, VergeSpace, Wet Paint. So these would all start in demo mode for them. And as far as local apps, it's kind of neat because a lot of these are actual working apps that I did not have the ability to have fully functioning. So we have AppSoft Draw, Backspace, which is a really neat screensaver. And for fun, I wanted to show you what's going on with Backspace because there are some very interesting modules that I have not seen before. This would be one of them, right? And so I'm hoping that we can bring up some more here if we go into the Backspace directory. And if it'll be kind enough to let me click through and find the rest of them, that would be great. So why don't I try and shut this down real quick. Click to open, and hopefully it'll open the whole app for me. And let's see if we've got Do Screensaver. It should bring up a bunch of different ones. And of course, this is the way things are going to go here. So I'm going to just kind of click through because there's a lot of really neat ones. Now, the screensaver was actually invented on NeXT. And what the guys wanted to do is they were thinking about Star Trek and the field of stars. So if I do, let's see if we do a screensaver. I want it to open just in a little window, and there should be a way to do this. I was just doing it, so let's try normal maybe. Okay, normal will let me just run through these real quick without having to jump back and forth. The analog clock, there's battle. I don't think I've seen that one before. I have seen this one. Boink I've seen. Boink Space I've seen. Digital clock. Fading image. This might be a new one because it lets me just add images. So on my master ISO, I'm going to be able to add a lot more modules, which is kind of fun. Fireworks. This is the first time I've seen it working. Okay. There's a way that you can compile it, and I hadn't been able to get it working, so it's nice to have a working module. Flexi Cube's kind of fun. I haven't seen this one before. Fly. Life. Lizard's cool. I haven't seen this one before either. The Lorenz cross and rotate. I'm sure that a lot of you out there have run NeXTStep all these years and have not seen a lot of these. And I think these may have been just available to employees at NeXT. The Martin View one, this one's amazing. I really like it. And I really hope that I'm getting audio. I'm trying a different setup for my microphone. I hope I sound better and like I'm not talking in a tin can this evening. And I hope it does not cut out. Message, this one's kind of neat. I haven't seen this one before. So I could add in a message. Movie show would let you play actual movie clips. Haven't seen that one. And then multi lets you pick a bunch of different ones. Nico is the cat. That's kind of cool. Let's see if he wakes up and crawls across the screen. This is like my cat Bella. As soon as I say her name, she's probably going to wake up and come over here and meow. Come on, Nico, wake up, buddy. There we go. Then he's going to fall asleep again. We've got Patchwork. Planet. I like this one too. Polyhedra. Some of these Make me kind of dizzy. And they are running pretty quick here on previous Quicks slideshow. So it lets you pick your own slides, which is kind of neat. Sliding image, so you have an image just bouncing around. Snakes. And this is what the very first screensaver looked like, right? This was invented because they liked Star Trek. And they didn't want to get screen burned. And then they came up with Space 2. Here's Spheres. I like this one too. And that's probably done with RenderMan. Ooh, that one's cool. Spin. Swarm. Tan circle. Teapot. I'm just going to wing through these. Veroni. Wandering Polygon. That one's cool too. I haven't seen that one for sure. And this one, which I really like. World Space. Okay, so that's it for that. So let's move on and we'll take a look at some of the other apps here. So you've got Chartsmith and Concurrence and Create. And I won't go through them individually right now because it's a little late here. But there is a complete Mathematica. There's Lotus Improv, Mesa, Monster Shelf, which lets you add different apps. So these were what the Next reps were actually using. The Pages app, Pencil Me In, which is a really neat way to keep track of customers and so forth. See if I launch that. You'll get an idea what Pencil Me In is. And I still have some copies of this available for sale. So it's a nice calendar. And you can write in and, very advanced for the day. And it'll actually give you little notifications. There's Presentation Builder, Questor, Rolodex, which I believe is like a Rolodex app, which was pretty handy. Seed, and I believe that one bombs, but it lets you create your own seeds. Taylor, which is a PostScript editor. I would get a fax in, and it would blow people's minds because I never would have to print it out. I could go into Taylor, fill it out, and fax it back. And they would ask, how did you do that? Because most of the time you'd print the fax out and hand write things in. There's WordPerfect. World Clock, which lets you get several different clocks going at once, which is good for me because I have customers all over the world. Right Now, Write Up. Right Now is the original kind of like WordPerfect app for Next. So then there's a game and 3D Reality. 3D Reality, I believe, lets you create 3D shapes. I'll launch that real quick. We'll just run the demo here. And I believe you can just drag these in. And then it'll drop 3D shapes in. Here's the cube and so forth. And then you can go and shade them in and create little scenes and animations. Which was pretty cool for the day. So I'm going to go ahead and click that out. And I don't want to log out, so I'm going to cancel. So that's this Next Answers was pretty cool too. Okay, so they had all the drivers and all of the answers that you'd ever want to ask about Next. In fact, I found something that had detailed information on practically every Next app ever written, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm going to go here. So there's demo apps, local library. Jump through. Huh, I haven't seen these either. So we've got NeXT logos. Very cool. I wonder if it was under palettes. But it had the complete listing of all of the apps. So, sales package. Interesting. So this is probably from all the different third-party vendors, and it kind of gives a description of all of the applications. Um, as I say, I'm just kind of winging it. I'm going to learn more about this and come back and do a better video in the future, but I thought you guys would be interested in just seeing it. So here we have public relations, and so you have press coverage, articles, clips. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see if it'll let me open. Are there any PostScript files? Because these look to be just text files. And table of contents. Press releases. Cool. So we've got awards. Okay. Customer site selected as finalist in the DP Expo Awards. Wow, that's kind of cool. So it lists who's going to be winning the awards in advance. Mount Clemens Hospital, Chrysler Financial, and Quest. So I hadn't gone through every directory here. So this is kind of neat for me too. So here's an example of all of the different applications. You could kind of search, and then it would bring up detailed information on each product. And there was just a ton of them I had not seen before. And so they would give you temporary licenses, and in this case, this one expired at the end of August in '93. So we could wind the clock back, I suppose, and run it. And here's the license manager. So this would be how you would create licenses. And you'll see a lot of NeXT softwares run in demo mode. So there's actually the source code in here that I have not seen before. If you develop a NeXT app, you could use this source to actually create the license keys. Now, I want to see if that also lets me take a look at existing abandonware apps, and maybe we can unlock them, which would be really cool, as I do have permission from a lot of the original developers to where we could use them as hobbyist licenses now, because a lot of the apps were very good. And let's see, I'm going to open this one in. I want to go to right now. So I'm going to go back to my local apps here. And I want to go to right now. And then I should be able to jump back to, was that the local library? God. As usual, I'm making a mess of this. Developer relations, public relations, okay. Press coverage, press releases. Oh no. Okay, so should have had this going. I am sorry, I'm crashing and burning kind of on this presentation tonight. It's been a long day for me. Um, so just bear with me. How about if I just click stuff and open it and you guys just go in awe? The fans go wild and applaud. I hope I'm not losing subscribers this evening because I know I'm not the only person that's tired. Maybe this will be one of those videos that puts you to sleep on the net. I've been listening to rain and thunder. And, okay, company Q&A. I think what I should have done, I saw something in there about Steve Jobs' bio. And I thought we might want to take a look at that because that seems like something we'd all be interested in. I am going to come back and make a better video, and I'm debating whether I even want to put this one out there. We'll call this the Bozo version. Okay, so this I might have needed this actually a map to where I'm going because I lack direction. Map to Chicago next. Okay. Yes, this would have come in handy today. They're like, where's that new sales guy? Bless him. He's wandered and lost in a lost world. He's lost on the net. He's creating crappy videos for YouTube. With the old, oh, here's our like license agreements. So I wanted to show examples of this. And so this is, I believe, the end user license agreement. So, I'm sure you guys really want to read the fine print and right to use licenses. So I have all my contracts in here as well. Here's the strategic alliance tools. I'd actually opened a bunch of this stuff earlier and just thought, well, I could kind of wig through and show you guys. And this kind of goes through and it'll give you, stuff from the past. Moscone Center, okay. And I'm not sure, this must have been kind of just a beta presentation because some of the fonts are kind of distorted on that particular one. Some of them were really good. So this was the monthly newsletter that went out. So it kind of gives you this 94 Expo update info. I know some of you were out there at the Expo. Probably at the Stone Design Raves, right? Okay, so I'm going to close that. I'm just going to keep rocking and rolling through here, this blast from the past. Here's the seminar overview program. So this is everything I needed, to be a NeXT sales rep. I actually handled the academic bundle sales for NeXT nationwide. Outside of the bookstores, I was the guy that you'd call. If you called the NeXT number, said academic, they would forward me. There were others at some point in time, but I got so good they just sent everything my way. Now, you can tell really how good I was just by the way I'm presenting this, right? At the end of a long day, making another video. Man, I don't know if I even want to put this one out there. Okay, don't save. I was doing great with the screensavers. So this would be your starter kit. They'd give you a bunch of different stuff. Brochures and data sheets and I still have stacks of this stuff. So at this time it was Next Step 3.1 for Intel, and there's things in here that talk about the transition and a couple surprises too that I want to unleash on you guys that I think you're going to be impressed with, because this particular CD belonged to somebody really special, I think. So this is this 94 seminar program, introduction plan. Kind of gives you an idea. And, the guy was traveling all over the place. In fact, I've got the tour cert that says Hyper Reality, You Decide, Next Objects Tour. It goes to a bunch of different cities. Here's an explanation of the different software vendors. Just a nice spreadsheet that kind of tells what they do, contacts, and phone numbers and such, of all the third-party stuff. So all these different apps I have open at once, which is pretty neat. You can do this on NeXT with no problem. So you've got the quick base installer. So I could go through and install this, and then it will link all these tools, right? And you have the query guide. I'm just going to go ahead and shut that one down. We've got preview going, Lotus Improv, diagram, which was pretty neat. And this was, I believe, our Tiffany app, which I need to add the license key in this particular partition that I have. We can do Tiffany free from the author, WordPerfect. One of the projects that I'm going to be working on coming up in the next few weeks is Tracy is the wife of the original developer Kurt that passed away, that developed Lotus Improv. So she's going to be bringing the systems he used while at Lotus, and I'm going to tune it up for him for a display that they're going to have at the Groover Labs in Wichita, Kansas. And it's kind of a co-op lab where you can go in and it's, lets developers run amok and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's 42,000 square feet, and then they're going to have a little dedicated area with NeXT. And so I'm going to give them a tune-up and put a slideshow on there. And I think they're going to probably give me some of the hardware. It's still in the original NeXT boxes. In exchange for the tune-up, we'll do new caps on the board. And I'll probably set them up with a Zulu SCSI with all the apps. And I'm going to be able to add a ton more apps on here. Now, there were a couple other things. Let me see if I can jump through here that I dropped up here. So we've got the local library. I'm going to see fonts, images. It's probably going to open Tiffany again. So this is kind of neat. Okay. I don't know if you can see all these different logos. So IBM, Oracle. That's actually really, really good to have. So that gives me all the different logos now that we can add to my master CD. And next step. So I'm assuming this is the building blocks version that you probably would find on the boxes, the NeXT boxes from the factory. I'm just taking a guess. And okay. And we'll see. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, so I can create those even. This is kind of cool. So I can recreate all the promotional materials that NeXT used. Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate it. Rich was the Vice President of Hardware Engineering at NeXT and brought all the NeXT hardware, your cubes and your slabs. He was the man in charge of all that. So I really appreciate him sending me all this stuff a while back, including his NeXT cubes and all these CDs. So I'm putting it all to good use, and I hope I'm not being too boring. And in case you need some sleep, I hope I am being boring and you're falling asleep, because I know we all work way too much these days. Okay, so this is the registered consultant program, and I guess that's what I am here, right? So you kind of go through, and it gives you a description of the benefits, and I'll just wing through it real quick. All the forms, we needed to fill out. And then there was also the registered developer program, I believe. No, this is actually the course schedule, but there was a registered developer program that was kind of the same way. So if you want to take classes, we've got some classes coming up here in July. If we turn back the clock to 1994, and the pricing $1,500, $1,800. NeXT Network and System Administration $1,500. So when I'm talking to you guys on the phone, I appreciate the tips. I had a guy give me a tip the other day. Thanks, Jeremy. Helps keep the lights on here at Black Hole. The 486 floppies. So this might be interesting, as I'm not sure if this is different than the shipping floppies. Sales info, offices, next collateral guides. Yeah, all this stuff is kind of cool, man. I don't think any of us have seen this before. So I'm going to make a more detailed, I'll keep saying that, video in the future, and have my act together a little bit more. This was just kind of a get to know the sales tools CD, and I have a bunch of these. So it also does comparisons with the competition, right? So I'll be able to bring all that stuff up. I believe there's a lot of Steve Jobs stuff in here. In fact, I'll save this for last and then call it an evening, because it's 2 a.m. here. But I think this might have even been Steve's actual CD that he used for his presentation, because the local string is SJ Demo, PDO, HP Oracle. And because there's that, and then there's the cars demo here. And if you watch the video on 3.1, where he brings in all the cars, right? The makes and models of cars. This is the CD that Steve Jobs used. So we're dealing with a real cool historical item that I would consider priceless. I wanted to save this till the last. It won't be the last. I'm going to go back through and see if I can get all this stuff working, as it is really important. Thank you for bearing with me. Up here, if you've never seen it, here's the first web browser from another one of my customers, Tim Berners-Lee. And I can bring this up. Let's see, panel. And there you go. Version 1.0. First version of NeXT World Wide Web application. And his bosses thought it was going to be a bad idea. Now, with any luck, my microphone has not cut out tonight. And on that note, I think I'm going to sign off, because we are at a really good place. And so while I'm futzing around, why don't we just do a screensaver until I can figure out how to shut the microphone off. And let's see, which one did I really like? I think, which one was it? Well, they're all so good. I think this Martin one's pretty cool. We'll do that one. So we'll do the screensaver, right? And all I should have to do is control click, right? And I'm out. Have a good evening. I think I just click over here and we shut down. Not too shabby. I'm going to have to redo that one. I know, a couple of you out there, I hear Gilles for one. The dude's out there snoring by now. Peace out.